Shalom YouTube. You're listening to The Financially Savvy Chick. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what if the dollar falls, right? What if it fails? And here you can see where the article is right here. So I'll have to paste a link for you there below. So in the past few weeks, major countries have been moving away from the US dollar, which is raising doubts about the dollar's long-term dominant role in the world. 8 weeks ago, other nations like Iran and Russia are typically trying to de-dollarize. Now it's Brazil, France, and even Saudi Arabia. If the dollar does lose its position as the global reserve currency, it's going to be catastrophic for the American economy and catastrophic for American people on whose backs of 80 years of having that reserve status. It's going to be catastrophic for them. And it's going to subject billions of foreigners for whom the dollar was meant decades of being bullied to history's greatest bait and switch. So we're going to talk about why the dollar is at risk. In late March, Saudi Arabia announced that it's going to price their oil on the Chinese yuan. And even CNN was worried about this. The dollar has been the undisputed global reserve currency since the 1940s, right after World War II. The reserve currency status looks great on paper. You get to print stacks of green paper, and foreigners give you cool stuff for it, like toasters, luxury cars, and copper mines. The problem is who profits, who gets paid when foreigners crave the green paper. Unfortunately, it's not the American people. It's who's ever printing the money, the Fed, the Treasury. They hand their little gotten profits to Wall Street and commercial banks. Why imagine foreigners didn't want the dollars? The Fed and banks could only print a little bit, since printing a lot would create inflation and voters would toss them out. But if foreigners want a large number of dollars, the Fed and banks can print a matching amount. It's like a river flowing into the money supply reservoir, matched up with the river flowing out to foreigners. The reservoir stays stable and voters don't riot. But notice where the profits went. All right, it didn't go to you and I. Profits went through us to the source of the river, the U.S. Treasury and Wall Street. So like the rest of our crony financial system, it's a hustle. The American people think they're benefiting from reserve status, but the profits were sucked out and handed to the people who designed the institutional fleecing we call a financial system. Now here's the problem. If foreigners certainly don't want dollars, let's say you're overseas, you're traveling, you're spending time with your family, and you're overseas and you can no longer use your dollar. Now, yes, you could take the dollar and exchange it for their currency. But what if they don't even want the US dollar because there's nothing they can do with it? What are you going to do? Maybe China is paying them to sell oil and wine, or maybe the Fed lost the plot and creates too much inflation. Demand dries up, the dollar starts to lose value, and foreigners start worrying about their life savings and corporate treasuries melting. They sell out of the dollar, a little at first, more and more, and then it accelerates. Now, that river to foreigners reverses. It flows back into the reservoir. The dollar collapses, and you got 70 years of Fed and Wall Street money printing comes rushing back like a tsunami wave running up a canyon. We already have double-digit inflation, and it's not even at a minimum. The article says that it goes on to say if they screw this up, reserve currency status could turn out to be a trap, an absolute catastrophe for the American people. It's too late. This has already been done. What are the stages of de-dollarization? So what happens if the dollar falls? For starters, foreigners don't need as many dollars, meaning there are extra dollars nobody wants. This makes the price of the dollar fall and it gets weaker. So I've been considering traveling to Ghana with my family lately. And every day I've been checking the rate because the rate fluctuates. I'll show you guys. I'm going to show you. So right now, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So we're going to take the US dollar and exchange it to the Ghana cedi. Now, when I first checked, look at that. $1 is worth $11.62. So it went up. Last week, like I said, you had to check this daily. But last week, when I checked this, it went to $10.15. And at one point, when I showed my husband, One US dollar was worth $12.45. So as you can see right now, $1 is $11.62 of Ghana cedis. So if you took $25 US dollars, you would have $290.48 of Ghana cedis. I just wanted to show y'all that, if you ever want to see how strong the dollar or how well it's doing, just check out the exchange rate, wherever it is you want to go, and whatever currency you want to exchange it to. I'm glad I showed y'all that. So, like I was saying, who's left holding the bag as the dollar becomes increasingly worthless? It's you and I, right? Now, unless you're investing in assets that hold some value, it might not completely hold 100% of its value. Well, I do, okay? I believe silver and gold holds its value. Yes, they're going to say it lose value, but that's their opinion. I don't necessarily agree with their opinion all the time. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you what is known as sound money, and silver and gold is sound money. It's been around for over 6,000 years, and this is a fact. So the only people on earth who are actually obligated to use the US dollar, thanks to an obscure law passed in 1862 as the wartime emergency that nevertheless managed to stick around for 151 years. So Americans have no choice unless you swap your dollars for gold or goats and you go down with the ship. I'm not going to recommend Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or any type of digital currency. If you have ever listened to any of my videos, I have never recommended anyone purchase digital currencies. I just cannot see myself buying anything as such. I can't. If the dollar was to fall and the economy tanked and it was like cryptocurrency, and then as a means for paying for your purchases, I just may be in trouble. But then again, I may not, because there are people who are preparing, not to use digital currencies, regardless if it's Bitcoin or crypto or whatever. All those other, it's so many of them, it don't make no sense. But there's people who are preparing right now as I speak to put themselves in a position where they don't even have to worry about leaving their land or their home. They can just stay home. They got food, they grow their food, they got power, etc., etc., etc. I'm sure you get where I'm going with that. So I'm just not going to be purchasing any of that. I can't touch it, then I don't own it. So what happens to those Americans? A falling dollar drives up the price of everything that comes into America, but it also drives up the price of anything traded on the world's market, meaning the raw materials and imported components that drive American factories and sustain American consumers. The first to jump would be gasoline, heating fuel, and food prices. All of those are world markets, along with prescription medicines, since China is actually number one supplier for a lot of our prescription medications. I don't have anything negative to say about China or Russia or Ukraine, because that has nothing to do with me. Just because they've done nothing to me, and well, I'm gonna say I'm not choosing sides. Let's just leave it at that. So, gone are the days of affordable luxuries. Now you got to work for them. That's always should have been that way. You should always have to work for whatever it is you want in life, This is what my culture teaches us. I believe it's 2 Colossians, where the scripture says, if you don't work, you don't eat. Yep, that's just how it go. So, I'm going to leave it at that, you guys. At the end of the day, there are ways to stop this, but given that Washington is raising the debt ceiling, paired with their obsession with sanctions and scarce foreign countries off the dollar, Washington isn't remotely close to the serious thinking it will take to right this ship. Losing reserve currency status would savage the American economy, and it would savage the American people. No country needs reserve currency status. After all, it doesn't benefit the people. But like climbing a cliffside with no gear, once you go halfway, you better not let go. Until next time, please hit the the like button on this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It also helps this channel. Don't forget to visit our website, financiallysavvychick.com. Check out our blog section. Until next time, shalom.